Hola, voy a hablar un poco de cambios raizales. Right, so let me talk about um, stem changes in the present tense. Okay, stem changes in the present tense. The first question you might have is, what is a stem change? Well, a stem change is a slight change in spelling and pronunciation of a conjugated verb. This occurs sometimes amongst specific verbs, and there are three categories. And the other thing that you should know about stem changes is that they are not conjugations. They do not change the meaning of the word like conjugations do. For example, if I said hablo, right, I mean I speak. Whereas if I change that conjugation ending to hablamos, suddenly I say we speak. Stem changes do not create changes like this. They do not change the meaning of the word. Again, most of what happens with stem changes is a changing of the spelling and the pronunciation of certain conjugations. So the other thing I should say about stem changes is that they don't occur with vosotros and nosotros, right? So any nosotros or vosotros form, we're going to skip this stem change. We'll still conjugate, but there'll be no stem change for those types of verbs. Now, let's talk about the three categories of verb that we have, or stem change. We have E to IE stem changes. We have O to UE stem changes. And we have E to I stem changes, which I hope to scroll down and show you. Let's start with E to IE stem changes. Actually, before we get to that, let me talk about where you should expect a stem change. For stem changing verbs, the stem change typically ends up being at the next to last syllable, right? So the second to last syllable is typically where you're going to find a stem change. So for example, if you have a two-syllable word like cerrar, that E in cerrar is where you're going to find your stem change. If you had a three-syllable word like comenzar, well, that stem change is going to occur on the second syllable because it's the next to last syllable. If we had a three-syllable word, it would occur on, if we had a four-syllable word, it would occur on the third syllable. If the five-syllable, on the fourth syllable, and so forth. So that's a little basic information about stem changes. And let's go to the E to IE stem changes. Starting with cerrar, which is to close. Comenzar, to begin. Empezar, also to begin. Entender, to understand. Pensar, to think. Perder, to lose. Preferir, to prefer. Querer, to want. Okay. Nevar, to snow. Now these are just a few examples of stem changing verbs that go from E to IE in the present tense. There are some more out there, but these are some pretty common ones. And so let's talk about how each of these will stem change, what that looks like when you do conjugate. We'll use pensar as an example. Pensar is a two-syllable verb, pensar, and so our stem change occurs on that first syllable. And we'll start with I think, which is yo pienso. Tú piensas. Él o ella piensa. Usted piensa. Nosotros pensamos. Right? Remember what I said about nosotros and vosotros forms. There's no stem change. And I don't have that vosotros form on the chart, but it would be pensáis. And ellos y ellas piensan. Ustedes piensan. And just to be sure, this IE stem change, make sure that you pronounce as if it's one syllable, right? Because I functions here as a weak vowel, right? Making one syllable. It's called a diphthong, if you don't quite know what that is, right? So we're going to pronounce the two letters, the IE, as a single syllable. Again, like pienso instead of pienso, right? Pienso. That's what you want to do. Now, let's go over here to the O to UE stem changes. And here's a few examples. Almorzar, to have lunch. Costar, to cost. Dormir, to sleep. Encontrar, to find. Jugar, to play. Mostrar, to show. Poder, to be able to. Volver, to return. Llover, to rain. So again, this UE will be pronounced as if it's one syllable. And as with the E to IE stem changes, the stem change is going to occur on the next to last syllable of the verb. Okay. Here we use the example of dormir, to sleep. I believe that's one that one word that everybody likes to hear. And so we'll look at this chart, starting with yo, right? Yo duermo. Tú duermes. Él, ella, usted duerme. Nosotros dormimos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes duermen. So we've already covered E to IE stem changes, and you can find this chart in the upper left hand corner of this handout. And our O to UE stem changes, we have a sample chart on the upper right hand corner of our handout. And again, very similar to E to IE, we have a two-letter stem change with the O to UE stem changes. And let me go to jugar. You probably wonder about jugar. That's not a no. No, it's not. But jugar does stem change just like any O to UE stem changer. It just happens that we're dealing with a U instead of an O. And before we get to E to I stem changes, let me go to this bottom right hand corner where we talk about poder, which means to be able to. So you can use this word in tandem with other verbs. Whatever that you are able to do won't be conjugated, right? So we have to just conjugate poder to say, you know, I can play basketball, for example. Puedo jugar baloncesto. Al baloncesto, right? So puedo jugar al baloncesto. Let me put that in there. Right. So hate typos, but you should correct them if you see them. So you can use poder in this way, and just make sure that you remember, one, that poder is a stem changer, and 2, that any other verb you use in tandem with poder will not be changed to a conjugated form. Poder is the only thing that you're going to conjugate in this situation. Right. I'll give another example. ¿Puedes hablar español? Can you speak Spanish? Right. So that's a little bit about poder. It's just a special verb that I wanted to point out here. Let's go to the left. Right. We have a couple examples of E to I stem changes, right? Such as pedir, to ask for or to order, conseguir, to get, repetir, to repeat, seguir, to continue or to follow. So again, there's only going to be a one letter stem change here. So we used pedir for our example in the chart. And the chart is on the bottom left of this page. And we'll start with the yo form. Yo pido, tú pides, él o ella pide, usted pide, nosotros pedimos, ellos, ellas, ustedes piden. And then vosotros is pedís. Okay, pedís. So that more or less sums up stem changes in the present tense. I hope this video helps you out. Again, just to review, stem changes do not change the meaning of the word. They just change the pronunciation and the spelling slightly. And these stem changes don't occur in the nosotros or vosotros form. And one of the other important things to note is that the stem change will occur on the next to last syllable. So 2-syllable word on the first syllable, 3-syllable word on the second syllable, 4-syllable word, we'll find it on the 3rd syllable, and so forth. Bueno, nos vemos y buena suerte.